Well, welcome to Lesa, Simply Lesa's Sunday Live. I don't know what happened. The other one got cut off. So I'm hoping you all get to come over here. I don't know what happened. I was trying to see if I could show you a picture because I know there's a way, or there used to be a way, to show you a picture. And somehow that didn't happen. So I will be out here waiting to see some of you come back. Technical difficulties on the other one. So I'll try to pick up where I left off. So, oh, there we go, guys. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry I lost y'all, but I couldn't get back in. I was trying. I used to be able to show you a picture while I was there. Anyways, I guess they've changed that or something because I hit the button and then all of a sudden I was gone and I was like, okay, I'm sorry. So I hear the mechanic coming back. I know the little girl's all right, safe. So thank you for all coming back. So I was struggling with my December 23rd, 2022. I began the lion diet, which is a very strict elimination diet that is carnivore based. It is ruminant meats only: beef, lamb, goat, camel, elk, stuff like that. Eh, and salt and water, and it can be mineral water or sparkly water or flat water. So I started that in December. Most people are on that for a limited amount of time, depending on what health issue they're trying to work out. Hi, Rock and Van Light. Welcome. I apologize for the glitch in the earlier beginnings of the video. Anyway, so I started that in December of last year. And for 4 months, I was super, super strict. Then I was traveling in Baja, and I had, I didn't have access to food as often as I needed the access. And part of that was because of, traveling in a convoy with, I think it was 8 other people and 6 vehicles or something like that. I was dependent on how often they were needing to stop for groceries, not as much how often I needed to. So I didn't have my refrigerator at the time. So, well, and my refrigerator is tiny, but it can be a full freezer. And sometimes I use it as only a freezer. Anyway, so I added in honey, which is an animal product, but not recommended by all carnivores. So anyways, I had added that. I had added in goat's milk cheeses. I tried sheep milk cheese, and I thought I was doing okay with it. But my progress kind of stalled-ish, okay? I wasn't losing any weight. Not that weight was the issue. My issue is more, I want the autoimmune disease out of my life. I don't want to have to be worried about being paralyzed ever again. I've been paralyzed 5 times. We didn't realize that they were all being paralyzed at the time it happened. Some of them we thought I had a back problem. I'm so glad that I did not accept back surgery, because to find out it's autoimmune and not a back problem is a big, big deal. So I struggled a little bit off and on, and so I was doing then I added coffee in. Big mistake for me. Not for everybody, but for me, big mistake. For me, coffee's like my gateway drug, in quotes. Once I have coffee, then I want more stuff that's normal, like other people have. And coffee in a warm drink makes me want to have a warm milk drink. So then I was doing goat's milk in my coffee. Then after a while, I was doing goat's milk and honey in my coffee. And then it was like I'm drinking more coffee than I'm eating food, but I wasn't losing any weight. And then being here this summer in this broken down situation. Okay, so my engine blew, people. You could go back and find out all the details about that, but basically my engine blew. So I bought a new engine, but it was from a junkyard, and it also had problems, so it needs to be rebuilt. I have an excellent mechanic. The people that are sending me all these messages about how I'm getting scammed and everything else. I don't have enough money to be getting scammed. That's not happening to me. This mechanic is a really excellent mechanic. That is not the problem. It's a one-man shop. He's got one lift for a car. We're 4 hours from a bus station, a Walmart, a regular grocery store. We're 2.5 hours from a Family Dollar. They don't even have a Dollar General in that store. So it's the location, the ability. Some car parts are harder to get. And right now, there seems to be a trend. Anything from a 98 to a 2006 vehicle right now, it's really hard to get parts for. My white Chevy Tracker is a 98. It was a mid-year, so it's a 97, 98 on the label. But anyway, and it was a rebranded, it's a Geo or a Suzuki. It was made by Suzuki. And so we have to kind of hunt a little bit for parts for this. And as we went through the original breakdown and what happened, thinking it was going to be a kind of quick fix and I'd be back on the road, we just kept discovering more problems. And it was like, I like the car well enough. I've put enough money into it already. I had just put a rather pricey solar system on the front that's glued to the hood. And I had put in my little refrigerator freezer. And I was like, I'm not willing to give up on this vehicle. So let's go forward as hard as this, challenging as this may be. So that's what has happened. And so being here this summer, my diet also, other things were going on. There was the stress of this whole process. There was the interaction with more people than I'm used to being interacting with, because I have been kept myself away from people a whole lot because people weren't safe in my life. It's funny, the things you learn when you're really young, they don't go away that easy. And if you learn negative ones, they really don't go away that easy. And so, I had a lot of traumas and compounded and whatever, just lots. And so, I don't know why my life has been this way, but it's the way it was. And so, if this is what I've been given, that's what I'm working with. So, so along with this, so what's happened is, I've been doing my best to stay carnivore once I was here at this house. So I tried eggs again because they're cheaper. And there's one grocery store that's very small, rather expensive, and not very well stocked. And in fact, for the last 2 weeks, their meat department, the meat case, has been like basically empty. It's had a few expensive top shelf items that were spiced up, and I can't eat those things because of the allergies and autoimmunes and whatever else that I react to. So getting food was a real issue. So I would get Amazon, since there was a shop here and Amazon would come to the shop for deliveries. I would get Amazon to bring me goat's milk powder and honey, and sometimes carne seca, and sometimes I would get a jar of tallow. But I was trying to just stay carnivore the best I could. But I was really given into, I'll just live on coffee with milk in it. Well, I started having not only leg cramps, but Charlie horses. and I was doing electrolytes, but the LMNT, they call it limit, electrolytes are $45. They're so horribly expensive, and I bought those for the trip. I just couldn't I and they taste horrible. I mean, I didn't get the flavor ones, I got the plain one, and it tasted horrible, but I was doing it anyways because I started getting leg cramps. Then I started having signs of MS again, and I was like, "Okay." I got on some of my Facebook groups for people who were either lion diet or carnivore-ish, and I asked some people for some help. Sometimes asking for help has not been my strong point. So I found a woman who was willing to kind of coach me for free. What a blessing. She didn't know I have a YouTube channel. She just found out this morning. I didn't realize she didn't know. But anyways, so she and I have been working together for a week now. I've already seen an improvement, but the very first thing we found out was I had switched from Element electrolytes to Dr. Ken Berry's electrolyte drops, which are keto chow. I couldn't read the ingredients list, and they weren't listed on Amazon. Do you know the first day that she and I worked together, I had to get a screenshot of the ingredients for her, and I found an ingredient I'm allergic to. I'm allergic to citric acid. And she was like, "Well, okay. So you already had decided." So I had stopped drinking coffee like the day before I talked to her. I was like, "Let me stop that because I can see that's a little bit of a problem because when I can't get access to food, that's what I'm doing." And so I stopped the coffee, which then the next day I stopped the goat's milk because Michaela Peterson, who started the Lion Diet, had texted me and said, "Lesa, I've watched you over a year," and she said, "If I was you, I would not worry so much about the honey, but maybe back up on it, don't have so much." But she said, "I would get rid of the dairy, the goat's milk first, and the coffee." And she said, "See if that makes a difference." So I did one day I gave up coffee, the next day I gave up the goat's milk, the next day I found out about or the day of the goat's milk, I don't know. I found out about the electrolytes, so I stopped using those, and I had just bought them. They were a $9 bottle. If anybody wants those, make some comment, let me know you want them, you can have them, okay? Because they're no good to me, but they're in the car, and the people who live here don't want them. They don't do electrolytes. And I also, at the same time, bought fish oil tablets, brand new. I probably took 3 out of the bottle and then realized that I was telling the coach, I have no idea why I'm burping these. I haven't had acid reflux in years. And she goes, "Yeah, sometimes that's a problem for some people." And she said, "I would rather that you actually ate some kind of fish." And we talked about it. So I'm gonna get kippered herring a couple of times a week if I can. If I can. Like here, I'm limited. Um, so then we were working with the wife, her name's Sam, here at the shop, was willing to take my bank card while she works in town, which is 40 miles away. So I gave her my bank card, told her that I just needed food because I can't take food from her kids. I'm like, I just need food. And so I need some kind of meat. And I don't know what you can get, but I'm just going to give you my card. And if you got to call me or text me, I don't know how we're going to do it, but can you please bring me home some food? And we ended up for a week or so, one thing worked, and then the store was out of it, didn't carry it anymore, and then another week something else worked, and then the shelves were empty. So I was like, okay, now what? Well, we're down to these 5-pound rolls of 80/20 ground beef, and they were $5 and I don't know, 30 cents a pound or something like that. And I was like, you know what? Just get me 2 or 3 of them. She goes, "Well, they only got 2." So I was like, "Just bring them home. I'll cut them in chunks. I'll eat so much a day." And so I'm working with a coach. I'm so much improved, but I found 2 allergens in the first day. And allergens is enough to make any of us brain dead. I don't know if you brain fog is real, okay? And in my life, it's very real. And so I on top of this, these people have a dog. Now they just got a cat this week. I'm allergic to dog hair and cat hair. And everybody's levels of clutter or cleanliness or whatever is different. And I've over years, I found that if I'm super, super clean and I sleep in my car, I don't have many issues. But if there's a smell, oh, they have a lizard in there too. And but if there's a smell or if there's a mold or a mildew or the toilet hasn't been cleaned in a while or anything, I can have an issue. And I'm not talking about their house specifically, but I'm saying in a general sense, all of those things can make me more sick. So I am a member of some of the Facebook groups for mold avoiders as well. I was wondering if I actually had Lyme's disease instead of MS, but who knows? I don't really care anymore. But I am on a journey to try to heal this stuff up because I'm not going out in a scooter chair. I'm not going to get diabetes like other people in my family have had, or like other people I've known who got diabetes and then ended up um, that one of the trucks leaving that just got worked on. Um, so some of the other people I've known with diabetes that have had problems and then they're getting amputations. I'm not going out that way. I decided that a long, long time ago. So no, not happening. And so I try to stay active. So when I was first here, some of you that were around knew that I was weeding the yard for these people, hours and hours of just weeding. Um, and like hand weeding, not with a weed eater. Um, and then recently, I've been helping to dig a duck pond. These things are activity because there's nowhere to go around here, and there's snakes, and there's snakes. I don't like snakes. Can we say that again? I don't like snakes. I ain't having a snake. And we did have a little rattlesnake incident since I've been here this summer. So all of that stuff with my carnivore thing for a while. I even tried, they have a lot of ducks and turkeys and chickens. And I tried chicken eggs, don't do good with them. Commercial chicken eggs, my tongue gets itchy. I'm allergic to commercial chicken eggs. And what I really guess or assume that it is that I know I'm allergic to soy. And so it's probably the soy and corn I'm super sensitive to. And so it's probably the stuff that's in the commercial feed that goes through the chicken. And because it's not a ruminant animal, some of that residue is in the byproducts. And so I don't do really super good with chicken either, but I can eat a piece of chicken once in a while. So all that being said, I tried store-bought eggs here, itchy tongue, allergic. That's the end of eggs. But prior to that, I had tried eggs from their chickens, and I tried duck eggs, and I was okay with the duck eggs. Oh, I'm really allergic to quail eggs too. But anyways, but I ate duck eggs, and I was okay with those a little bit. But I've backed off, so now all I'm doing is 80-20 ground beef, and that's it, and salt and water right now. That's what I'm able to get. I was gonna share with you a picture because I thought I could do it, but we're not messing with that now because that's how I lost the first live this morning. But I was going to share a picture with you of the grocery store. I can share that in a post or something. But I have a picture of the meat case from the grocery store. It's empty. I mean, for all intents and purposes, purposes. There's a few things there, super expensive, but like it's basically empty. And it's 2 hours to go to another store. So that's not happening with all of our vehicles having issues. And this mechanic is good. He's the best mechanic in the area. He's like basically not the only one, but it's kind of a thing. So I have not said hi to everybody. Let's see who I haven't said hi to. Is that Hermant? Welcome. Welcome, Owen. Welcome, Terry. Hi there. Iris, Sonia, Rockin' Van Life. I see your name once in a while. Panda Chicken Mom. Jeremy, George and Tammy, and Betty Joe. Nice to see you, Brooke. Nice to see you. Oh, welcome from India. Oh, how cool is that? So yeah, so I'm doing carnivore diet. I'm kind of right now being very strict with Lion. My leg cramps have started to ease up. I'm not having the problems I was starting to have with the MS stuff is starting to back off, but it's only been a week. And get this, I weighed myself. They have a bathroom scale in their bathroom, obviously. Well, not obviously, but anyways, they have a bathroom scale in the bathroom. I stepped on it a week ago. And so I decided this morning to step on it again. I've lost 5 pounds, but I'm back on Lion diet. I'm drinking a cup of hot water or 2 first thing in the morning, because if it's chilly, I want more. It's sort of like, I guess I used to do with coffee. If it's chilly outside or cold outside, I want that hot first something. And so then afterwards, I've been making hamburger soup. It's basically hamburger boiled in water with salt. Okay. But the liquid is like broth. And so I basically will drink a cup or 2 of broth, depending on how I've made it or whatever. And then I'll eat a bowl of that as soup for breakfast. And then if I'm hungry, usually by dinner, I'll have a nice big hamburger by dinner. But right now, the way I've dealt with these big 5-pound rolls of meat is I thaw it just enough that I can saw through it. And I made a mistake and cut it in too many small pieces the first time. So now I'm just cutting it in 3 pieces. And so each one is about 1.5 pounds, a little more than 1.5 pounds for every day. Now, most carnivores will say that generally you ought to be eating between 2 pounds of meat and more every day. That most people need about 2 pounds. So that's kind of. I can drink, Terry, I can drink, getting bored with your food. I'm just starting carnivore. Okay. Babs. Oh, wonderful. Let me talk about that, Babs, because when it comes down to just hamburger and I don't have any other choices, to me, it's very boring. And I can't have garlic and onions. I can't have black pepper. I don't have a thyroid problem. I've been checked for it because there were weird thyroid things in my family, or unusual thyroid things in my family. And because my family also has a lot of diabetes, so I watch the sugar things and I'm very aware to keep an eye on thyroid things just because. So I don't have those problems, but often people with Hashimoto's can't have those items either. So I don't have Hashimoto's as far as I know. But so when I have my blood tests checked, I have them checked extra carefully for those things, just in case. Because if everybody else, wow, yellow jackets. If everybody else in the family has something like that, I came from the same people. It's possible. So, can I drink bone broth made from beef bones? Yes, but I can't have the vegetables that are in most of the commercial beef bone broths. And if I'm here at somebody else's house and they're being kind to me, even though I'm doing my best to, unless it is extremely cold, I sleep inside my broken down tracker still. And if I'm being kind to them and working around their family rules and whatever else. I'm not using my own stove and fire outside. Of course, I can't even get the fuel for it around here. But I'm also not okay. Yellow jacket. There's a yellow jacket flying around, buzzing my head. Okay, he's gone. Um, no, he's not. um, I thought he was good. Go, 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 go. Anyway, oh, I'm going to show you pictures of him in a minute. Where's he at? Whoops. that's my hamburger soup cup. Could you see that yellow jacket flying all around me? Yeah, a little booger. Where'd he go? There he is. I'm like, go away. Anyway, all right, here I am back. So anyways, the beef bones would be great if I could get them, but I can't get them right now. I'm not, when I'm by myself and I'm able to shop in a store and I can find beef bones, then yes, I make bone broth. Absolutely. And I don't make it, real fancy. I keep it simple. Sometimes I'll roast them first in a pan or on a fire or something, and then put the bones in, and it gives it a different flavor, and then boil them. I always make sure I try to get bones that have marrow in them to make it. I love marrow. For some reason, I can't get enough of it. But in the current situation I'm in, the only thing I got available to me right now is ground beef, and it's 80-20 ground beef. And so I'm making my broth is made with hamburger. I just boil some hamburger. So, and that's what I'm drinking. Now, the boredom, because it's only hamburger right now, the boredom is, I was talking to my coach about that the other day, and she indicated that maybe I could try, because I was having the acid reflux from the fish oil tablets. She said, maybe try some pickle juice. And I was like, well, I don't know about the vinegars. I know I've had to be super careful over the years with the vinegars, and I'm better if it's homemade than I am if it's anything commercial, right? And so we went through a whole little thing, and then I was like, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put it on my list of possibilities, but I'm not going to do it yet because I don't know what this family has for pickles in their refrigerator. And then the other thing that she said, I said to her, can I just use some kind of spice? I can't do onions. I can't do garlic. I can't do pepper. I'm doing Redmond salt. I have a couple of salts that I love. Redmond is one of them. And I love chunky kosher salt. Some people don't, but I do. And so I went hunting in their cupboard because I was thinking rosemary was what I was thinking. We couldn't find any in her cupboard. But I did find cumin. And so my coach and I decided that I could put a pinch of cumin in my soup if I wanted to. And so yesterday, being Sabbath, Friday, when I made my food for Sabbath, I boiled my soup with a pinch of cumin in it and then put that into the refrigerator. Oh, and then I had that yesterday. And then I fried up my burger for dinner ahead of time because I had a hunch I was going to be hungry. I wasn't quite eating enough. And she's still talking to me about the fact that I'm probably not eating enough meat yet. But anyway, so the soup I had yesterday was incredible. That little cumin flavor. How nice was that? But that technically makes me, in a technical sense of online people, that technically makes me a relaxed carnivore. So, let's see. Yes, Sonia, absolutely. But if I can't get them, I don't know if you were here to hear that story, but where I am broken down, my engine blew. I'm at the mechanic shop. I have been here all summer. I'm sleeping in my broken down car in the backyard at the mechanic shop. I have been here since June. This is 4 months. The only grocery store here is 40 miles away. All they have is 80/20 ground beef. Their shelf is empty of meat. They lost their butcher recently. We don't know what's going on, but there's no meat at the store. And so I can't even get to a store to do my own shopping. I have to let the mechanic's wife take my bank card. Think about how I have to trust somebody I don't know, right? I had She's been wonderful, don't get me wrong. But still, I had to go through, oh my God, what if she doesn't come back with my card? What if she spent $400 and I haven't got it? I had to think those thoughts and work through them. But the point is that I I have had to trust her to take my bank card and bring me something. Where she works is next door to that one store that's close by. All the other stores, 2-hour drive away or more, 4 for anything like a Walmart. So just kind of, I'm in an interesting situation. So I can't get the bones. They're not available. Um, and yes, Hermant, I was raw vegan for 9 years. I understand very much. I understand Indians and Indians not being vegetarian and the Indian foods and spices. I understand it very, very well. Um, I cannot do apple cider vinegar. I have another trick that works to get the calcium out of the bones. And thank you, Sonia. Yes, if you can do vinegar, you put a splash in, and yes, it will pull the calcium out of the bones. Um, uh, so anyways, so Hermant, yes, I understand that Indian food and culture, I understand well. I've had many, many Hindi friends. In fact, telling on myself, but in fact, for a short time, I dated a Pakistani man. So that was a few years back. They were med students in Virginia. But anyways, so I understand very, very well. I understand, but I don't do well. I didn't realize it until after I was on the lion diet. I didn't understand oxalates. And because I live this alternative lifestyle of living in and out of cars or full-time camping, even at my cabin, it's camping. It's a dry cabin without running water. I cook over open fires most of the time. Now I'm at someone else's home. I have to respect that they have a big issue. They have a lot of flammable stuff in this part of Nevada. And so they have asked me to please not use my stoves with an open flame, but to please come in the house and use their kitchen. And so I clean their kitchen so that I can use it, right? And I help them so that I'm not too much of a burden to them. So, like, nobody loves, no, many people don't love washing dishes, but I'll wash all their dishes as a thank you for letting me come in and use your kitchen. And to me, that's a taking, being radically independent and taking care of yourself. Um, so I see, Hermant, that you're asking me where am I from. I grew up in Maine, but I have been a world traveler. So um, I don't know that I'm seeing all the messages. Let me do that again. Yeah, it says I am. So so this situation I'm in right now has come with, I don't know what to call it. It's come with these things like, hard to get food and whatever else. But so that's what I'm doing. So Babs, I'm using a little bit of spice. I'm being careful. I had decided that for Sabbath, I cooked my food early on Friday, so that I could take the whole day off and just chill and be like silly, and not dig on the duck pond. And, not wash dishes, not help with laundry, just take a day off. And uh, so I had decided that I wanted to cook my hamburgers over charcoal, but then I realized I don't think there's any more charcoal here. So, and I didn't have permission to get into the firewood. So, so anyways, so rather I cooked my hamburger in for dinner in a fry pan, cooked it ahead of time, and my plan was to put pickle juice on it. And then I went to the refrigerator and looked, and there wasn't any pickle juice. Well, no, let me rephrase. There was relish juice, but it had sugar in it, and so I won't have that. So that was a sweet relish, not a dill relish. So I couldn't do that. And there was a jar of olives with jalapeno, stuffed olives or something with jalapenos. And I thought, well, maybe I could try a couple of spoonfuls of that juice, but it was kind of flavorless. I did try it. It was kind of flavorless. I believe it was old. I think it's old. So it didn't really have flavor. But I'm willing to try a couple of spoonfuls of pickle juice on a burger for like Sabbath, but not get in the habit of doing it all the time. Now, also, and I know I'm talking about this a lot, um, but I actually, Catherine, was going live at 9:30 Arizona time, but because of the daylight savings, it changed my announcement for when I was going live. I said it yesterday at 9:30 Arizona time, and the system changed it. And so I apologize for that, but here I am. And all you've missed this morning, Catherine, was I was talking about diet mostly. So so basically, I cooked my food ahead of time. And so, yeah, it can be a little boring, but not that bad. And Babs, it depends on how strict you want to be. Some of you can do, like Ken Berry has fabulous information. He's a doctor in Tennessee, a PCP doctor, primary care physician in Tennessee. Great guy to listen to. Love his stuff. Understand it. He kind of talks beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. I'm allergic to eggs. I'm allergic to butter. And by my beliefs, I am a non religious kosher person because of my beliefs. And so I don't eat bacon, pork. So, um, but you can follow one of those other ways if it works for you and get very healthy, especially if you've been what they call SAD diet, which is standard American diet. You could do really well starting with one of those other forms. You know me, Babs, you really know me. But you know that I'm the person who, rips the Band-Aid off or jumps in the deep end of the pool. So if I want it fixed, I ain't fooling around. And some of the things I've tried have cost me a lot of money. It's true. And I don't have a lot of money. Y'all know I'm on a budget, but sometimes it's what you need to do. And so another thing I've done because of this empty shelves in the meat department at the local store situation is I hunted and hunted and researched, trying to find some kind of healthy version of a protein powder that would give me something else with a little variety. And I found something, I don't know how I'm going to like it. It had a couple of ingredients that I had to actually text the company and ask them, what does your natural flavor involve? You've been real good about telling us everything that's in your stuff, but you use the words natural flavor. And if I see natural flavor, I can't eat something. So can you please tell me what that is? And they were like, oh, it's vanilla beans. And I was like, well, why didn't you put that on there? Well, because it looks better to. I was like, okay, well, for your marketing thing, that you missed me on that one. So I was like, okay, well, I think I can do vanilla. I think the thing I'm concerned about with this company that I found. The thing I'm really concerned about is that there's colostrum in it. And colostrum comes from milk from a cow, but it's like the early milk from a cow. So I'm just praying I'm not allergic to it because I bought a bag on Amazon, $64. I'm just like, I just have to suck it up and try it because I'm very limited on my food. So, oh, thank you, Hermont. Do I eat ice cream or sorbet or, oh no, Gary, I can't. No, I can't. I thought that I would save the idea of an ice cream for like a special celebration. Like, I don't celebrate birthdays, but say like Thanksgiving or Passover or something like that. And that I would just freeze goat's milk with honey and maybe some berries for a special. So to me, the two big holidays that I like to celebrate are Passover dinner and Thanksgiving. They're easier to share with people. And and so that's what I had thought about doing. But now that I've found that I sort of need to stay away from the dairy, I'm not sure if I'll do it or not. We'll have to just wait and see. Now, I also know that I can use beef gelatin, or I can make my own gelatin, which is a process of boiling bones. That's not that hard to do, and just flavor it in some flavor that I think could be okay for a treat. So that's possible. I could do that, but right now, none of that. So, oh, SRR's here. I missed seeing her name. Um, uh, let's see. Okay. So I hope I'm getting questions. How am I doing with that? Babs, do you have more questions that way? Yeah, it's good to see you, SRR. Um, SRR, I may want to get a hold of you one day to see if you can help me. Um, because you're Japanese, I believe. Oh, okay, Jeremy. Okay, I'll call you later, Jeremy, and that way I can catch you up on what's happening with vehicles. Um, so I'm going to drink a little bit more of my hamburger broth. See, hamburger broth. It doesn't look so gross. It's just, you know, got a little salt in it. Mm. I would like to get a hold of some Redmond's smoked cherry wood salt. I would like to try that. I haven't tried that yet. So you have a good week, Jeremy. I'll talk to you later. Yep, good old fashioned beef broth. Yep. So, oh, okay, okay, Iris, thank you. So now I'm going to talk about the cars and what's happening with, am I really going to be able to leave? Yes. Yes. So now the other kind of scared starts to happen, or the other kind of anxious or whatever of, oh my God, I haven't driven in so freaking long. Or, oh, what am I going to need to do? Where am I going to go? Which place am I going to first? Where am I stopping? Where am I going to spend the night? How am I going to maneuver this? I don't even know. You know, it's just the things our minds do when we've been stationary for a minute and then we get to go back to our own life. So, um, the blue car, switch the view, the blue car over there. I think you can see that. Yeah, that blue car right there. Whoops, my headphone thing's in the way. There you go. That blue car. We have test driven it. The mechanic felt that it was safe enough to put his family in, and not this past Friday, but the Friday before. We went about 20 miles up the road to the hot springs on a Friday night, and we all relaxed. That was so nice. We had been so stressed all summer. It had really been hard. So, oh yes, I just see SRR's name again. I'm gonna sidebar, but SRR, there's something on Instagram that I'm interested in from a Japanese, I believe, I don't think it's Korean, I think it's Japanese, camping equipment company. And I can't read the language and I can't figure out how to order the thing. And I really want to order a couple of their pieces. Anyways, we'll at some point, would you get a hold of me so we can maybe do that? Maybe it's not the right time for me to spend the money. I don't know, but it would be a nice piece of kit that's so tiny. It's wonderful. So anyways, so this car, the blue car, has been tested, but there is I may be totally wrong, and Jeremy's already left, but I think it's the ball joint is broken on the passenger side. I mean, like broken. So we looked at how much it cost. It was under $200 for that and a couple other things it needed to make that front end safe enough to drive. That was what I was calling a shimmy. Now, Tom Brown got all over my case about the fact that a shimmy is just tires. And I'm like, well, I'm not a mechanic. I probably got the wrong word, but will you stop like being so judgmental and giving me such a hard time about this? I'm doing a good job with what I'm doing. Maybe my language is wrong. What do I know? But anyways, like I'm saying, maybe it's not the ball joint. Maybe it's something other, but it's in that thing where the CV boot and the ball joints are. Something's broken. Like if you drive too fast. So the night that we test drove it, the mechanic drove the car with his family in it because if the wheel fell off, he was going to be responsible, not me. And I get it. His family's in the car. So that's how some of that has happened. So 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 we went ahead. It was less than $200, and we went ahead and bought the parts for that. They're here. They came this week. They're sitting in the car. The truck that left a few minutes ago while we were talking, that you heard go by, he had to get that truck out of here before he could do this to put those parts on. So, and I had ordered $6 windshield wipers off of Amazon. And so first time I was successful putting my own windshield wiper blades on. I have fought with that for years. Finally did it. But anyway, so the windshield wiper blades are on. Lots of the fan blades are on. The shroud for the radiator is on. But he'll put those other parts on, and then I think I'm kind of cleared to go. But there's still problems with the car. So there are, now don't hold me to this, any of you mechanic people, there are bushings that are going bad in the rear end and something else in the front end. He said, don't use your four-wheel drive. I'll ask him more and make sure I write it down so that I get it right the next time. But he told me you're not going to be able to use your four-wheel drive. It's not safe to do. And you need to only drive what you have to drive. The bushings thing, you'll be able to get home, but that's expensive. And I have not priced how expensive, but he wouldn't even have time to be able to do that job for me. So he has got, I don't even know how many vehicles right now, 7 vehicles in line to be worked on. And he just keeps trying to fit me in between because he knows I don't have the money to pay him, or I don't have much money to pay him with. So that's what's happening with that car. But it does mean that it's possible that I can leave this week. It's also possible that it might take a little bit longer. Who knows? Because once you start to tear into something to fix it, sometimes you find other stuff. And so let's pray there's no more other stuff. So let me catch up. I see that DS has been talking quite a bit here. Let me see what you're talking about. Have been working on being a carnivore for 15 months. Lucky to get beef from a farm. Very blessed to have that. Yes, ma'am. Or yes, person. Yes, DS. Oh, sorry. Burgers every day. Fried and lard. There you go. Oh, okay. Yeah. Just weeks off of my sugar addiction, still drink too much milk and backyard chicken eggs. That's up to you about that, but I hear you. Yeah, and when I first started that whole thing about the animal fat increase and stuff and the inflammation going away, and for me the IBS and the muscle cramps and all of that, I didn't wasn't even using electrolytes at that point. I was drinking a buttload of Pellegrino back then. But that got expensive and I couldn't stand all the trash, all the bottles. Um, but and I still love the Pellegrino. I'll say I probably will keep that for like a special treat, Pellegrino. And we're talking plain Pellegrino. We're not talking flavored. But anyway, when I first started, when they said I could eat fat on the meat, I was like, "Are you serious?" And then I found that the butcher in Quartzsite was fabulous. I taught him about carnivore. He had a health issue. He started and within 2 weeks was getting better. And so if you're down in Quartzsite and you go into the Roadrunner and you talk to the butcher and you find out he's carnivore, tell him hi from Lesa, that you can tell him what's going on. But he was so wonderful to me. He would save me beef fat trimmings from when they had to trim the steaks and stuff. And I would just cut it in little chunks and put it in a pot, not a fry pan, and just put it over slow charcoal during the day, because you know how if you cook over charcoal, it's really hot in the beginning and then it just kind of simmers for a long, long time. And so I would do that, and every once in a while I'd throw 2 more pieces of charcoal in, and I would just let that simmer. And what it does is it separates the tallow out from the meat pieces, or the chunky fat pieces, whatever, the meat pieces. And so as it would get liquidy, you'd pour off the liquid tallow into a jar, and that will keep nearly indefinitely in a jar. Once you get it almost full, you only fill it to like the shoulder of the jar, and then just screw the jar lid on, and it will seal itself. And that will stay years and years in the jar, but it won't last that long because you'll use it. Use the lard, I mean the not lard, the tallow that you've made to fry your steak in or your hamburger in, which is really yummy. And if you put salt in it, I mean, it's really good with salt. I mean, because of the Redmond salt, if you're salting it, by the time you get down to where there's not much tallow coming out of those fat chunks, then you salt that and let it just get crunchy. And it's like, I think I think we kind of in the carnivore world call it crunchy bits. That stuff is the bomb. Just have a spoonful of that every once in a while. That is so good. And hot or cold, it's good. Mm. And I even like liver if it's cooked in, if I cut it in small pieces and I cook it in the tallow. I love with the Redmond salt. The liver is actually good. So, and I had lamb kidney one time, but that wasn't now. And yes, I found that inflammation goes away fast. I did not find that I dropped weight fast. And of course, I'd love to be thinner. I've always been, I came from a family of big people. I was 185 pounds when I graduated from high school, and 5'7", 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", something like that. So, and I'm shorter now because, the compression on my discs in my back and whatever else. But, so I'm back to lion diet essentially right now. Now, when the package comes late this week of the particular protein powder that I bought that was so expensive, $64. Oh my good Lord. And I could not buy it with food stamps. But anyway, when that comes in, I'll be able to have that as an added thing during the day, little variety, a little flavor. It is carnivore completely. But probably some people would say because it's powdered, that it's still technically in the relaxed carnivore world, not in the lion diet world. but it's made by a pretty reputable company from what I could tell. And it has, I got, I don't remember the name, but it has a lot of organ meats in the protein powder. And so I really wanted that as well, since I'm limited by my shopping abilities right here and whatever else. So that's that story. And I'm so grateful to have a coach. And I'm so grateful that she was willing to take me on for free, because I just don't have money to be paying for that too. These vehicles are not cheap. Now, I'm not saying that they're horribly expensive either, but all of us have financial issues in the United States, at least. I mean, most all of us. And so right now, parts and all, the blue car, I've got $800 in parts and all. But I don't know what Mike's going to need to charge me for labor. I have no idea. The white tracker, which is my baby, and if you all know Rebel Miner, he has a Loki. Mine doesn't have a name, right? But this is my baby. This one, before we, I'm trying to think at what stage. I've got something like $2,700 in this since it broke down right now that I've paid so far. And it's going to, in the future, cost me probably another $3,000, because it'll be at least $1,000 at the machine shop for rebuilding the engine. And there's more parts to buy. And then at least another $1,000 for the mechanic to install the engine. And then there's more parts to buy. So that's what I'm looking at. So, all right, let's see what else we got on here. Any more questions? Thank you guys for being here today. I know I felt like I didn't know what I was going to talk about, but we came right into this, and here we are talking. So, sun's in my eyes. The weather's kind of nice today. For 2 nights, it's been pretty good. The mechanic, I'll turn this around. The mechanic and his wife decided that I could bring an extension cord. Whoops. I keep forgetting that my headphone cord keeps flipping around. See, there's my little refrigerator freezer that's not working because it's not hooked to anything right now. But see the extension cord coming through my back door right there, coming down here. Yes, it's a little tight and messy in here right now. That little heater, the mechanic and his wife allowed me to bring to buy. It was $20 on Amazon. They were cheaper at Walmart years ago, but anyway. That has been taking the chill off. As long as it does not get any lower than, what did I say? As long as it's not 19 degrees. 19 degrees and lower, we have an agreement. I go in the house. They have a camp cot. I sleep on the camp cot. That's how we've been handling that. So, G, welcome. Nice to see you, G. Are you still in Havasu, or do you want people to know? Oops, I already said it. Product link to Catherine. Okay. You don't have IG. Okay. I can do that. Yeah. Thank you, SRR. That would be great. So, gee, crap. I'm still not moving yet, but I'm going to be moving. Okay. Because earlier while we were talking, G, oh, Shadow Wolf too. Yeah, there you go. It is Shadow Wolf, right? Or just Shadow VR. Okay, Shadow VR. Yes, you can have a shout out. Hi. But are you Shadow Wolf or are you somebody else? So, gee, I wanted to catch up with you, but that's not happening yet. So I don't know. I just explained about the blue car, so you can go back and watch that instead of me repeating the whole thing all over again. But I might be able to leave this week. I don't know that means I can. I still have to get to a DMV but that's south, which is my way out of here. But I might need to, I don't know. I'm not sure how that's all going to work out. But it's possible that the front end problem that is dangerous will be fixed in the next few days. He had told me I was on the list for Wednesday. So, and I don't know how much it's going to cost me for labor work on that. Hi from Iowa. Who's that? Donna. Heading to Texas and then Quartzsite. Good for you. Congratulations. Quartzsite is a thing. That's for sure. I do not know at this point in time. I do not know if I will. Okay. Thank you, Shadow. At this point in time, I do not know if I'm going to make Quartzsite. I just don't know yet. Part of that is because of learning that the bearings, I think I'm saying it right, that are bad on the rear end of this blue car means that there's some problem with the differential. It's possible that it's not wise to drive much, and I have to make a visit to my off-grid cabin in Apache County, Arizona first. It is cold there. I need to check with my neighbor Brent. I don't think he's out here right now. I need to check and see if he'll help me split some firewood. I have firewood there, but I need it split. And my arm strength has not been that good lately. I'm working at it. And yes, I'm shoveling a lot of dirt, but I haven't slung an axe in a while. And so I know I'm going to need a little help with that. And one of the gentlemen that was my handyman helper, he and his family just found out that he's got terminal cancer. And so I will not be asking him for help this year, obviously. So, oh, how nice. You're going to be, wow, you're 79. How wonderful. How wonderful. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Yeah, gee, I miss you. Yeah. I miss Skipper Doodle. I did talk to him this week. Sonia, as a home canner, pickle juice is 5% vinegar, lots of salt, and other spices. Yeah. Yeah, I know that too. Yeah. And I'm aware of that. I do, like, I lived in Costa Rica for I don't know how many years, 7 years, 9 years, I don't know how many years, a number of years. I learned how to make my own vinegar. Well, I knew how to make it before I went down. And I had made vinegar before I went down. But when I got down there, I started learning how to make pineapple vinegar. And then that just translated into a whole bunch of other stuff. And so I do better on the home ferments. To be honest with you, I've been saying ever since I hiked on the Appalachian Trail, when I first returned, that was 2011, when I first returned from Costa Rica to the United States, I just kept saying, I don't know what is wrong with me, but I'm allergic to any food that touches some commercial machine. I don't know what it is. If they ground it, if they stuck it in a blender, if it traveled somewhere, it took time to get to us. That's how sick I would get. And I've had ticks before. Yes. I never saw the, what do they call it? Target circles around a tick bite, but I've had ticks embedded in my skin and known they've been there for days. I've had, I've been around mold and mildews. Okay, when I was homeless in New York City, when I first became disabled years and years ago, 2004, I slept in the basement of churches in New York City, churches with black mold. I was diagnosed with asthma at that time. I don't have asthma. They found out it was food allergies, but I couldn't breathe in those places. There was lots of, I'm allergic to people's perfume. But I have said for years, there's more. And I bet you I got Lyme's, and I bet you I've got multiple chemical sensitivities, or what do they call it, MCS. But nobody ever diagnosed me with it. That's because I don't like to go to regular doctors. So So yeah, yeah. Yep. And fruit, sugar, or fruit and honey, or fruit and sugar makes a vinegar, but it also, depending on the proportions you do, it also makes good wine. And I got really good at making bucket wine out of lots of stuff, right? I mean, I think the thing that I'm really good at is keeping it simple. And so I found years and years ago, there was this antique book I read. Like, I don't even know what book it was, but some antique book that was, it was explaining like what art was. And one of the definition things about art is that it has only between 3 and 5 ingredients or points of something. And I just always remembered that, even if I don't remember it right. And so I was like, well, I wonder what would happen if you only put 3 ingredients in something. What if you only did 5? So what if you were between 3 and 5 should make it wonderful. Crap, it works. If you're cooking, it works. If you're trying to make a house pretty, it kind of works. That you keep that 3 to 5 thing about, not too many colors or not too many, accent points so that your eyes don't have to jump. It it kind of works. I've done that a lot. Shane, welcome. Hi. Yes, I found the same thing when I was in Costa Rica. I didn't have any trouble eating the rice that my neighbors in the village grew, or the beans that my other neighbor in the village grew. I didn't have trouble eating the cheese. Now, I did have trouble drinking the milk, but eating the cheese from my neighbor Martina's cow. Um, she would milk the cows at 3 o'clock in the morning. Her aunt would take the extra milk and would make the cheese. And I would get the cheese later in the week, and I could eat that. And I didn't have trouble with it. But here in the United States, forget it. And I used to think, oh, good morning, Mary. I used to think that I was allergic to the United States, which is very possible because it's hard here. But I don't know about leaving right this minute. I have a lot of questions. Okay, so let's talk about this too, because I have had a lot of stuff go through my thought processes this summer. A lot of stuff. Um, so I have the off-grid cabin in Apache County. It's all paid for. That's not even an issue. I am paying off a loan that I'm deeply disappointed in myself for having taken out. It's all vehicle repairs. I don't know how much it's at right now at the balance, but it's in the maybe $4,500. But it's all past vehicle repairs, and all past vehicle repairs from the time of the Homes on Wheels Alliance minivan with the bad engine. So we're talking 2020. Yeah, 2020. From 2020 until I bought this tracker, that's what all that money was for vehicle repairs. I'm still paying on that. I can't wait for that to be gone. Yes, I'm very aware of that. What's your name? GD RG45. I'm very much aware that you can't be allergic to a country. It was a tongue-in-cheek tease, joke, way of saying that it felt like that. So please don't take it so literally. That was tongue-in-cheek. Do you know what tongue-in-cheek is? Maybe I should check that. People don't always know what I think they do. But I am very much aware that you can't be allergic to a country. That's not even, it was supposed to be, kind of funny, humorous or something. Anyway, so, okay, I forgot what I was talking about. That's yeah, allergic to the country thing. I'm like, do I really have to explain that? Okay, sorry. But so I don't know what I was talking about, but I was talking about money and how it's oh, I know what I was talking about. The um the things that go through my mind sometimes are, well, sometimes I feel too tied to that property and that cabin. Had it not been for COVID, I never would have built the cabin. I would have kept the land, but I never wanted to build a cabin up there. I was just going to come and go from it and camp. But then I thought, well, maybe, and I didn't know I had MS at the time. And then when I first had MS, I was like, well, maybe this is a good thing because maybe I'm going to be in a wheelchair and dying, and I don't want to be that. And so the thought processes that go through are, well, how much of this do I keep? How much of this do I want? Is this the life I want? Is this, I loved my trip down to Baja, but I would have liked to have done it a little differently. I love all my friends I went with, but my style of traveling is a little different from their style of traveling. And I would like to do more of that. I kind of like having the vehicle to travel through with. That's kind of cool. But how could I keep the mechanical shape up when I'm not a mechanic? How do I do that? How do I, and I'm not saying these are probably a lot of rhetorical questions, but how do I maneuver the extreme expense if I decide to start traveling the world in my vehicle? How about the extreme expense or risk of needing to put my vehicle on a boat and ship it to another country, or on a ferry to get it across uh, to Colombia, or that big desert that my friends from Argentina are driving through right now, next Meridian Overland. They're friends of mine that I met at Overland Expo, and they're driving in Argentina in this big, like, barren desert. They got buried to the axles and had to get themselves out. If I'm alone, I don't want to be alone to do that kind of a trip, but I would love to do that. But how do I do that? And then I see Eva, um, with Vilk, the dog. What is her? It escapes me right now. Her other name, her last name, but she's just because her visa for the United States was coming up soon. She just decided to ship her full-size German Shepherd and her Land Rover back to Europe. She got on a plane and went herself back to Europe. And because she understood that it's too expensive to do what she thought she wanted to do here in the United States. So she's going to do something else. And I was like, I mean, I understand her. Um, but for an American to be in another country, how safe is that with the current state of the world and all of that? There's, a lot of these things just run through my thoughts because I have too much time on my hands waiting on vehicles to be fixed, right? But uh, so, and then there's a side of me that's like, I can see it at my cabin. I can see having chickens up there, but I can't eat them. So what's the point in doing that, right? I can see growing all these vegetables, but I can't eat them. What's the point? Yes, I have things like an asparagus garden started and stuff like that, but it's like it's just well, Sonia, maybe I should explain that a little better. I was blessed to be able to take out a loan from my credit union for the repairs on my vehicles. That is true. I was blessed to be able to do that. That's true. But to be honest with you, I'm at my top limit for me. I don't know whether the credit union would give me more or not, but I don't want to find out. I'm not asking. because I have set for myself no matter what I do, it's not going over $5,000 because I only get X amount of money in a year and I can't ever pay that back if it gets bigger. So it can't be above $5,000 if I've got to pay it off. So not happening. And so I do everything I can do to not have to take out a loan to fix something. So this hurts my heart to still be paying $250 a month every month on cars I don't even own anymore. That hurts. I couldn't make enough money on them because they were too old. They had problems when they were being sold, but you get what I'm saying. So thanks for being here and everybody. Catch replay. Okay, thank you, Donna. Okay, thanks for being here. X Chopper? Oh, thank you. I don't know who you are. I'm a grandma, huh? I am a grandma. Yes. I don't even know most of my grandchildren. That is true. I have not met many of them. But I have not been super close with my children, but I do talk to them now. So they've been through stuff. They've had a life. I had a life when they were being born. And I'm saying a life that was not fun. And yet there were moments of fun within them. And so, I love my children, but you're apart from people long enough, you don't really know who they are. And, you only can know somebody so well. And sometimes people keep things from you. That's an awkward thing when you're trying to have interpersonal relationships with people and you find out that they're not telling you what they're thinking, or they're not telling you the whole sentence. They say 3 words and you're like, what are we talking about? And then they're like, what do you mean? You should know. Well, but you said this, this, and this, 3 words. I have no idea what you're talking about. I was thinking about something totally different. I don't know where you are. Some of those conversations are hard. Y'all know those. So, guys, we were over an hour. I hope I've given you some content that's worth listening to. I love my 98 Chevy Tracker. I cannot wait to be traveling in it with it again. But for a little bit, we'll be working with the blue car for a little bit. Oh yeah, it's not present. That was past. And that's why it feels even harder to me now. Yeah, I got to wait for parts to come. I got to wait for the mechanic to be able to drive my engine, the new engine, to the machine shop 4 hours away. But his car, the tie rods went in and then he found his axle was bad. So he's trying to get his axle fixed in his own car so he can take my engine up there to get it fixed. So I said, when this other blue car came up, I was like, you know what? Oh, hey, Beth. Thanks for coming. And EC as well. Thanks for being here. So when the blue car came up, and it was a few $100s to purchase because there was a widow whose husband had passed away, and it was his car, and she just didn't want to see it anymore. So it was like, I just want a couple of $100 for it. I was like, well, let me think about it. And then she was like, well, I shouldn't say she was like, then the situation came up that it was like, well, we need to deal with it like right now. And I'm like, well, I need to have it checked. Well, forget it. I'll go have it checked. And so she had it checked and it came back, and I was told, I don't know what I was told, but so I was house sitting for a couple of weeks. And then when I came back to the mechanic shop from house sitting, which I would have done more of, I would have taken a job away from here had it been come up or been available. And I just found out that there was another guy who was going to ask me to help him. He was going to hire me to help him when he had knee surgery. But then his granddaughter stepped up, and I was like, oh, well, that would have been nice too, but whatever. But anyway, so, I was willing to take things if they had come up, but the only thing that came up was house sitting. And so the car was kind of checked over, but then when I came back here with the car, the mechanic said to me, now, Lesa, I don't know what you've been told, but I wouldn't put my family in that car and drive to the 2 hours to the grocery store, to the big grocery store. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, when you get a chance that's not taking you away from work, that's making you money, will you let me know what's going on with it? He said, yes, I will when I get a chance. I was like, all right. So we'll just back to status quo. I'll sleep in the tracker. I'll come in the house to fix my food, use the bathroom, right? And we'll just keep going. And so it's winding down, and maybe I can leave this week. Maybe it'll be another week. I don't know. But that all depends. He could get under mine and find another huge problem, under the blue one, and find another huge problem, and me not be able to leave. But I hope not. I hope it means I can leave, but I don't know if it means that I can. He said, with what he thinks is wrong right this minute, even with the rear bushings, which has something to do with the differential in the rear, he said he's pretty certain it'll get me home, and it'll get me around from home, around like to a grocery store and stuff. But he says, I wouldn't do much with it until you can get something like that fixed, and that's expensive. I don't know what expensive means in that situation because I haven't looked it up. But he can't do the work. He's got too many other jobs to do that work. So that's okay. I'm like, that's all right. If it'll get me home, I got Jeremy on the other end. I got Stan's shop. I got my neighbor Brent and his daughter are mechanics. I mean, somebody can help me. Somebody can help me get those things done. If it's super important. I don't know. I got to go to the cabin first. The rats have started to dig underneath of my foundation at the cabin. I believe my neighbor Brent, who watches my house for me, I believe he went over and put some solar stakes in that helped to get rid of rodents. I don't know if it worked. And I need to swap out some stuff. I don't want to travel. There's some stuff I left at the cabin that I should have had with me. And now I know it, and I don't want to travel without it anymore. If I'm going to be vehicle dependent, I want the right stuff with me. And of course, the little blue one's got a little extra space. So, okay. So that's that. Okay. Sometimes I do this and I get so tired afterwards. Any more questions? So I just don't know about whether I get to quartzite or not yet, but I'll know more as he starts to work on it. He starts to talk to me about the realities of that vehicle. Because like I told some other people, it's kind of beat up. If you haven't seen it, you want to see that blue vehicle. I did a walk around a couple of weeks ago, and I was explaining back then I was calling it my hoopty car, but I offended a couple of people. So I've stopped saying that. It's the blue car. And so I was explaining in that video why I was using the term hoopty, because to me it was a tongue-in-cheek for a lovingly, really well-used car. But anyways, I offended some people, so I've stopped calling it that. So now it's the blue car. But anyways, that's what's going on. Thank you guys for being here today. Am I giving you the content you want? I know some people have asked me to do it's patches. I know some people have asked me to do some regular videos again. I want to, but part of that is that if I have any brain fog from an allergy, I'm useless, okay? Well, I feel like I'm useless, because sometimes when have brain fog from an allergy or a health problem, I won't even let myself drive. I feel like that. But um, I just haven't I've just been in this kind of limbo state all summer where I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to tell you guys. That's my whine. Okay. I mean, as in like a whiny kind of facial expression thing that I do. It's supposed to be silly or funny. Okay. But it's like, I don't know what, I don't know what to talk about because I feel in limbo and like I don't have any clear direction and stuff like that. So you're who's this? Oh, I, w- I do have a pair of glasses here. I can't see the. Is it Terry? You're in the pit of buying a '05 Chevy Blazer for $4,500 and four-wheel drive. If it's in good shape, that's probably cool. I don't know much about '05. Mechanically, I'm not the person to ask whether that's a good mechanical purchase, but um, yeah. Thank you so much, Beth. And I try to be genuine and real. I think I am. I mean, come on. What else am I going to be? What else? I'm not an actress. Okay. I'm not. So you're getting who I am. Okay. Sometimes, some days you've gotten me without my hairbrush, but I am who I am. It's me, the real me. And I really do live this way. And yeah, there's, I'm enough of a, I grew up in the country, off grid. I remember having to take cold showers from the garden hose to go to kindergarten. Um, I remember working for hours in the summer in the garden because if we didn't have 1,000 cans of green beans and 1,000 quarts of green beans, 1,000 quarts of tomatoes, two probably 30-gallon pickle barrels of pickles, and more. If we didn't have those things put up before September, before we went to school, we were going to have a problem. And my parents would drive over to Dover, New Hampshire, and Manchester, New Hampshire, and buy from the restaurant supply 100-pound bags of flour and sugar. And back then we ate sugar, flour and sugar and rice. My dad liked rice more than potatoes, so we ate a lot of rice in our family. And so uh, that's how I grew up. But when I was very small, we lived in a sheetrock trailer in Elliott, Maine, and it was country. There were no neighbors. Well, there were some cows, some dairy cows that belonged to a farm kind of up the street a little bit, quarter mile away, something like that. But we used to be able to, when we got old enough, we could ride our bicycles to the library. But we had to be old enough before that happened. And it was the way life was. And Elliott, Maine, now you would not understand. If you live in Elliott now, you would go, oh no, it never was country here. Yeah, it was. You would have cows standing in the middle of 236 when I was young. I remember, they'd be crossing the street and they were a problem. But um, those places are all grown up, and that was years ago. So life is different. Did you buy it for $200? Terry, um, what's your thoughts on folks huffing paint to make the evil people stop crying? Uh, what kind of question is that? No offense. But as asthma something, I can't I can't read the font on my phone is very tiny. Um, uh, I don't even know how to answer that question. That it doesn't make sense to me. Did I buy it for $200? Um, I did not, Terry, the purchase price of the blue car was the price for the owner to make a couple of repairs to it. So all totaled, all totaled, what I paid for it and the parts and everything, I have $800 in it. I can't say I paid X amount for it and I put X amount in it, because it all basically has been repairs so that it will run well. And so it's safe. It's not only about, it is about making it run well. I've got to drive 750 miles, 11 and a half hours away is my cabin. That's where I've got to go first. So I can't have a wheel falling off halfway to Vegas. I'd be screwed. So that's why. So, your hair looks so long. Can you take it out? Not today, please. What's the name? I can't see the, is it Vladik? I can't see the name well. I didn't get glasses out so that I can read. The font on my phone is real tiny, guys. My hair is very long. I will not take it out of the braid today. I need to, like, technically wash it. My braid is with my head straight, touching the waistband of my pants. Okay. Low mileage? Yeah, surprisingly, I think it had 114,000 or 119,000. I forgot, but something like that. Yeah. Good morning. I did have a cat named Little Bit. Hi, Steve. Yes, I have someone watching my property. Absolutely. I do not allow my things to go unwatched. It will be so worth it. Yes, it's, it's that car's a labor of love thing. Well, whatever. It's been work, but not crazy. So yes, Steve, 47. Yeah. 30-year-old owner of a Suzuki Sidekick. That's right, girl. That's right. And you hang in there. I love my Suzuki product. Yeah, I don't spend a lot of months at my home base. And calling it a home base seems strange to me, because really it's a dry cabin. It's only 12 feet by 12 feet square. So we're talking, it's like what? A small bedroom in most houses in the United States these days. I'm not really missing it because I'm not that kind of person. I don't like to sit still more than 3 months, ever. It really drives me freaking crazy to sit still very long. But I know that I have a responsibility to take care of this place and to look out for it. And yes, I have somebody watching it. Yes, I had a cat named Little Bit. He rehomed himself to my neighbor Brent's house, and Brent's my neighbor who watches my house. So he lives with my neighbor a quarter of a mile down the road. I get to see him. He's a good little cat. Oh, he's a super mouser. He really does a good job. Yeah. So, so yes, somebody's watching my property. So don't think, whoever's getting ideas, whatever. Yeah, the missing home thing, not so much, because I don't do that the same. I feel bad that I left some items home thinking I didn't need them. Never expected to be gone this long. Never expected. I was trying something new out, and I never expected to need my real winter gear being gone for the summer. And so, yeah, I've got some readjustment to my thinking. I've got some readjustments to make to the way I pack the tracker for travel. And I really want to get some kind of, Jeremy knows this. I think he's going to help me with it when I get back. I really want to get some kind of roof carrier situation so I can put a few things up there, like a tent. And, you know, I'd love to have a fireside rocker um, lawn chair again. I just love that chair. That's my favorite of all the chairs. I've got a good chair here. I'm fine with it, but I would love to have that one too. And there's other things, but like, yeah, I just would like to, you know, to have the winter clothes and have them stored and safe or something. I don't know, but I need to switch up a couple of things. I've thought about a diesel heater, but um um it would be cool to have a diesel heater, but man, they break down a lot from everything I see. And I could do a diesel heater on a tire step so it would sit outside, and but then where would I carry it when I'm not using it? But it is a thing I need to think about because, you know, I could do the diesel heater, but I can't do, you know, there's other things I can't do. And it would be really hard to have a teeny wood stove in here. And I need a space when I'm sitting still for a while to stand up and be, you know, a bigger space would be nice sometimes. But I don't really, I'm so much healthier when I'm outdoors. So all these things keep going through my mind and I don't have decisions about them yet. I sometimes when it comes to me and I know, I'll know. You like my property, you have a nice one. Thank you. Planning on your trip. Is starting to snow here in South Dakota. There you go. You're going to be chilly. Do you know of a trusted RV storage place in Quartzsite? Okay, we'll have to sit a few months until I'm there in person. Oh, okay. Um, Not off the top of my head, but there are a number of them. What about trying that one that Bob used? I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'll have to look that up for you. I'll have to look that up for you and send it to you, SRR. I know I can get it to you through Catherine. Um, 10 degrees. Yeah, there you go. And snowing, huh? Wow, Beth. I hear you guys. Do you know I've never been to, I had license plates from South Dakota for 3 years. Never went to South Dakota. Never been there, ever. Haven't been to North Dakota. Haven't been to, is it Wyoming? And went through just a teeny corner of Montana, I think. So, like, there's still places in the United States I haven't seen, but how much do I care, right? Yeah, don't ask Randy. No offense, Tiny. I mean, I love Randy too, but don't ask Randy. Um, I know a lot about Randy. Let me just leave it there, please. But SRR, the place I'm thinking about is across the street from the tow truck service guy's shop, auto shop, where they repair the police cars. And it's across the street from that on the left-hand side. And it's behind the Ironwood mail service, but I can't think of the name of it. Oh, okay, cool, Beth. No problem. I'll let you know when I get ready to get up that way. You know, when I came back from Costa Rica, I wanted to come home, but I didn't have any, in quotes, home. I had no friends here. I had no family connections. And so I was like, you know, I need to see my own country, but I don't know where I want to go. And then I was like, well, I don't know how I'm going to get here and get a vehicle. So I came back and hiked on the Appalachian Trail rather than be labeled homeless, because to me, I wasn't homeless. I just, and I thought, and I honestly, I love long distance hiking. If I could, or I had somebody else to go with me, I would just do that. I love long distance hiking, but I kind of love my tracker too. I'll find the name of that place because I just can't pull it up in my head, and I don't want to hit a button trying to go find something for you right now and lose the live like I did first thing this morning, because that's what I did this morning. I lost the first one. So, um, you heard I'm spreading lies. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And you might be very, very wrong. Or if you really are Randy, you might need to have a conversation with me. So, and anybody that really knows me knows that I'm very careful about what I say about other people, and knows that I'm very careful to always tell the truth. Of course, like every other human being in the world, I tell the truth from my viewpoint. So, and we're all different, guys. You know, I'm not a party person at all. Of course, being allergic to marijuana like does put me on the outside of, yeah, I don't know what happened to my moderators. Anyways, so yeah, I don't we're all different. I'm allergic to marijuana, and I'm enough allergic to enough things that I will not even touch, like with my hands. I won't touch somebody's weed that they're passing around a fire pit, or I won't, well, I couldn't even be there for that, but whatever. I won't touch CBD stuff because I'm so allergic to so many things. I won't risk it. So um because of things like that, it separates me from a lot of the other YouTubers, from a lot of the other party people, from a lot of the other events, because I keep Sabbath makes me different as well. And then I have the health issues I have, makes me even more different. So you add all my factors together, and come on, last year I thought, well, everybody's over at the lit cactus, and I know what lit cactus refers to. Okay. But I thought, well, maybe I could go over and say hi to people and hang out in the at the fire pit. I could not even be within a quarter of a mile of the lit cactus campfire. I broke out in hives. I started swelling up. I am so allergic to marijuana. I can't be there, can't be near it. So I'm not around for those things. And so I don't celebrate Christmas, so I'm not at the Christmas parties. I do Thanksgiving, but often I'm not in. I've been in Sedona for Thanksgiving for, I don't know, 3 years in a row or more. So, you know, those of us being different, sometimes it fits us to be in a different place. And sometimes these people who think they know us don't really, and they hear things. And so I've had lots of people spread rumors about how I'm a horrible person and talk bad about people. And yeah, I don't think that happens much. I'm so careful with everything I try to do because I know what it's like to be hurt. I ain't trying to hurt somebody else. So whatever. Yeah, and I'm getting ready to go too. So I'm different. That's why you don't see me in those places. So I do not mind being with people like us that get together on Sunday morning. I think we really have an enjoyable time together, you know. But I do think that you need to be careful in some places, in some situations. And so, use your adult skills, be radically independent, do what you can so you can travel often, travel light and often, because I think it works really well. And so I don't know where I'll be this winter. I might be at the cabin because I might have to be, but I won't know that until later this week. So I'm going to let you all go. I've had enough for today. You all have a wonderful day. And by the way, if that really was Randy, Randy has my actual phone number, and you should be talking to me in person, Randy, because you and I know each other, and that doesn't even sound like you. So let's just put that out there. And yes, I would have considered that a troll as well, but whatever. So y'all have a wonderful week. Pray for each other. Don't forget to pray for George from Tiny GPS, because he's still dealing with a health issue. He's getting better. Pray for each other. Um, oh, I don't know what else to say as a goodbye today, but keep on keeping on, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Ciao.